Hello YouTube, this is a brand new series that I'm going to include on the channel called Black Metal Legends, where I talk about music, songwriting, guitar riffs, and just general ideas and the creative process with many black metal musicians that have inspired me. And we've got a quite an important guest because it's André Kvebek, Tjalve from 1349, as you all know, which is my favorite band. He's also played in Pantheon Beyond the Vastland, and he's also a big inspiration to the way I play. So it's a great honor to have him on the channel to talk about all things 1349 and Pantheon and all of his other projects and gear and music and the songwriting process. Let's dive in. Let's talk about guitars first. So what guitars do you have right now?
This is the one I prefer to use. It's an LTD, and I'm such horrible at like specifics and stuff. It's like more that I just like the feel of it, and then I go from there. But I have some EMGs into it. That's like the gear, and I actually have. It's usually just LTD.
Gotcha.
Back there. But I actually have the guitar I used for recording both Liberation, Beyond the Apocalypse, and Hellfire.
Isn't that the Ibanez? Oh, right, look at that.
Yeah, the Ibanez. It's rusty, and we took out some stuff here, and it's been used. Still love playing it. It's the easiest played guitar I ever owned. I think it's fantastic. And I have, now I have everything at home because I don't actively rehearse with a band. So I have also the Mesa Stiletto.
What amps were used on the 1349 albums?
Well, on Liberation, we used that was quite a trip. We didn't use amps. Was it Gear 6? You know, no, Line 6 was it? Line 6, the red,
the pod
shaped as a guitar.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And we just cranked everything and straight into the mixer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it was Raven, the vocalist, who tuned in the guitar sound, because he had a very specific plan on this. So he turned everything like up to where it is on the album. One thing that was a challenge was the opening, because it's feedback. Because we had like feedback in the rehearsal room, feedback, and that was an idea I had. I wanted feedback and blast beats to start a song, and then just go into it.
Yeah.
But creating a feedback with no amps, that's quite hard. So I don't remember what we specifically did, but I remember it was some guitars like just crammed into some speakers and just forcing that sound to come.
That's one of the defining characteristics on Liberation, is that guitar tone, because it's so aggressive and unconventional. It's one of those things, like, it's like, are they using amps? What are they actually using? But it's actually, that's amazing that it was just like a cranked up Line 6 thing to get that kind of
yeah. The brother of a friend of mine, you might know him, Eirik Renton. It's the first drummer we had in Pantheon, and the drummer for Trollfest and
yeah, gotcha.
And Gohil and all those.
Okay. He's the one doing the drumming on Worlds I Create.
No, he did the drummings on Atrocity Divine.
Gotcha. Cool.
Which is the first album. It's really hard to get that album because it was another story. But his brother, he was he was reading up for his exams, and this was around the time we released Liberation, and he got a hold of it, and he actually got a migraine attack from listening to it. That was cool, but it was like, it's kind of a struggle, and to be honest, I mean, that album really separates people. If you're into like the kind of unisound, the more stuff like that, it's not for you. If you like a challenge, this is it.
Because that's what I did. Like, I remember listening to Liberation for the first time, and I was really taken back. But I thought, okay, look, let's pull through. And
Yeah,
once it kind of dials in, and your ears get used to it, there's some
yeah,
magic going on. There's some real guitar magic going on. And
it's a lot of stuff.
let's talk about Manifest. Is it just played with power chords?
Full chords. Hear this?
Ah, okay, cool. So the full kind of the full
Yeah.
bar where you add the okay, full bar chords. So
Yeah.
like that, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
perfect, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's that 3 fret chord distance, that minor third.
Yeah.
That's such a
Yeah.
chaotic.
It was a bitch recording.
Oh yeah. Because it's because it's getting those slides tight. Trying to play 1349 on this guitar is a real fucking struggle, but it's good. Like it's good practice because it's one of those things. Sometimes when something's more difficult for you, you get better at it. And then you've got
yeah, you're doing the Archeon guitar there. Yeah. We go to the marching riff. You can easily just have your middle finger on the seventh there. So.
okay, so
yeah.
And it's next chord.
Yeah.
The E. Cool. All right. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you the correct way of doing it.
It sounds like single notes on the recording, and you can't like can't
yeah. So it's a lot of like double notes going on there.
Ooh.
And that's kind of when I composed this, I wanted to have a red line through the song. So I didn't want to deviate too much from the march. That's why it's kind of in the same vein, same space.
Yeah.
So it's easy to make the transition back and forth to. Yeah.
Wicked. This is so cool. So creative as well, like going from like these kind of like almost like, you know, like drone notes with the open A, and you got these melodies with the it's very sort of reminds you of like really twisted like Middle Eastern, maybe even Indian kind of. What was the idea behind that anyway? Like, what was the inspiration?
Back in the day when we made this, we jammed a lot, and it was basically in the start it was me, Raven, and Sideman, and we jammed a lot. And some of these riffs are from that era. And then Archeon joined, and then Frost joined, and then we made Liberation, and we had that. I think this song was already made by then, but it got severely improved when Frost made his contribution, because I distinctly remember doing the that thing. Was Raven wanting that beat, but he didn't know kind of the tones, so I tone set that beat. That's kind of just like a memory from far behind. And I know we had the song Liberation also done, and we had some parts here and there, but I think the Manifest song, it just got developed really fast, and I had like one riff that I thought was really death metal. It was like the most death metal I could make at that point, and that's the
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it's like short and sweet, and it's a good. I love that it's like the first song on the first album. Kind of, it doesn't put like anything in between. It's, if you like that, it's a big chance you will like what else is coming your way.
Of course, yeah. And it's when I saw 1349 for the first time, it was 2011. I was 16 at the time, and that's what they opened with as well.
All right.
Yeah. It was great. Going back to like Frost's contribution to the group, like how did Frost join?
He well, we shared the rehearsal place with Satyricon at a point.
Cool.
And we were making like a mini album. It's kind of hard to get, but I think it's just called 1349, I think, and you have a song called End of All and Antichrist War Zone, I think, and two other songs. Play-ish thing with just like a third. It's before we actually had the logo, so it's like a 1349 thing, and but Frost plays on it, and we asked Frost if he could contribute with drums on it, and he agreed. He thought that was cool, and then yeah, we recorded it actually at the next door room, because they had a studio. It's called Fix Studios. It's like long gone now, but they did that, and we thought it sounded like it was cool, but it didn't kind of bring the fury that we knew we had. And me and Sideman and Raven, we NRK, I think. I think he joined. I'm so horrible with dates and stuff like that. So if anybody out there can arrest me, please do, if you have the time and effort to do it. But at least Frost heard a couple of songs we did, and it now comes back to me. That was Manifest and Liberation, I think. And he thought that those songs had something. And then, I mean, it's so many years ago. In my recollection, I remember going to Frost at this place called Elm Street, which was a pub back in the day. And I asked him, what do you want to be credited for in the EP, the 4-track we just made? Do you want it to be like a session drummer or additional drums? What kind of title do you want? And he, as I can recall, he said, well, I want to do it full time. I want to like join. And then it's kind of a haze to me. And this story, I can't like confirm it. It's just what I remember. And that can be faulty. My memory is not pitch perfect, but this is at least my memory of it. And And then he joined, and then we started creating Liberation right off the bat. It was just in there, and that was a really steep learning curve for me personally, because Frost is a drummer that's, I mean, he's by far the best drummer. I mean, fuck me, what a drummer. And as a guitarist, like growing up in the 90s and kind of, you know, half picking, just like not really bringing the fire, just making the fire now. That was really hard. I remember when we were in the studio and we were going to record Pitch Black at Gordon Studios. And I remember I couldn't play it as fast as Frost played it. And I got really depressed. It was like, fuck. And when you are recording like that, you have booked days. So if you can't bring it on Tuesday, you have to bring it on Wednesday. So I went home and just felt like shit. And just, I made this. I made like 80% of Pitch Black. I made that. And now I fucking can't play it. It's just out of the question. So I sat home and just I just played and played and played and played, and the next day it got played as it is on the album. But it's not like, and I think that's one of the things with the 3 albums also, is that you can hear a struggle. It's played like just to our ability. We're not like sitting around just doing some stuff. We are really hauling ass. We are trying our best to bring the power and bring the speed to it. And I remember that vividly, because that was a horrible experience, but a really good learning experience for me. So Frost, in his own way, he made me a better guitarist, because I had to be. I had to bring the stuff, or else I would just sink the ship. And I think that goes for the rest of the guys as well, that have a drummer of that caliber that demands something from you. And when you have just played at a rehearsal room, jamming around, throwing around riffs, and not that seriously, but we had a vision to like strict do or die, it's something happens with your guitar playing.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing, because this is one thing that I say, like, recording is like the best practice that you can do, but it's even more important to play with really good drummers or really, really good musicians, because that has, because it's like you said, it forces you to do better. It forces you to, like, you know, get your shit together, get your playing tight, and really go for it. It's like if you're just jamming around in your bedroom, like, it's fine up to a point, and that point is when you decide to do something professionally.
Yeah.
That is when
it's a distinct wall behind between those two worlds. As to be in the creative mode and going into a rehearsal place and jam, that's fun. That's where also the creative stuff comes up. And if you hear something in it that, okay, if we just take this part, but we really just make it so pointy, so aggressive, that would be the most justice we can do to that riff. And that demands a lot from all the musicians around. Because I bet it's a lot of riffs out there that could very well be played better out in the world. I mean, that people are just, we can just play this, and but they didn't really sharpen it.
Yeah, it happens, and because your experience reminds me when I was recording one of my band's releases, and I remember it was during lockdown, and it was like one of the hottest weeks in the UK, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was trying to track some guitar parts, and I kept on going until each guitar take was absolutely bang on in line with
Mm.
each other. But it's also having that challenge and challenging yourself when you're with other people as well, and just making sure that you're ready to just go. Because
Yeah.
if the playing is on the edge and like really the limit of your abilities, then that's going to help with the recordings. And the early 1349 albums, they all feel
Mm.
like they're about to explode.
I know.
It's
Uh,
the
uh,
best.
I know, and I'll be the one to say that I had a hard time doing it
Hmm.
because it's not easy to play. Not for me. I mean, my background is the first band I played in was a grunge band. We covered Nirvana, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to like Metallica, and then I went to Sepultura and Corpse, and then black metal, and you know the whole drill. So for me to end up in the black metal band, and I'm kind of I'm like a feeling guitarist. I would never be able to pull off what Snudge is doing in Thorns or Arndt in Kvebek. I mean, forget about it. I don't have the discipline to make myself be that precise. I'm focusing on more composition and how I play things, and it's kind of an art by accident or what you will with 34.9. I think the struggle you hear in those albums, and I can definitely hear it as well, is it's a struggle. And if it were just a walk in the park, you wouldn't have that edge.
That's right. Yeah. That's right, because it's like when I create music, it's always like I like the super fast aggressive stuff. Like all of the bands that I played with have been that like 240 BPM average sort of
Yeah.
tempo. Or but you've got to commit, and it's just
Mm.
like like when you're on the limit, there's something that happens in the rehearsal room, but the only way I can explain it is you feel the air moving inside the
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
and everyone's just on the limit of their abilities, but they're really pushing and they're really going for it. Because you know, seeing Frost drum live, you can see it in this guy's eyes that he's putting 1,000,000% into his playing. You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's no let up at any point, and you could just like see him play like the just this. I don't know. There's something in his eyes when he's playing, and even like seeing bands of that caliber when you know when the band is really like giving a shit when everyone's just on the limit,
Mm.
and it's
Yeah.
that for me is
Hands down. I mean, when Frost is Frost, Frost becomes drums, basically. It's it's that simple, and that was also a huge learning curve going on live and playing all this stuff live.
yeah,
Because the thing is with Frost is he's extremely precise, he's extremely fast, and once that train sets off and you're not on the one,
yeah,
it has left.
yeah,
You just need to see your kind of how the fuck am I going to get in on this train again, and then it's all the fills, you know, and stuff. So I learned really fast that in monitors, no snare. I
mhm,
can have no snare because that is always on the upbeat. So in a
mhm,
blast beat, it will throw you off. Well, at least
mhm,
me.
mhm.
I need only the kick drums, only ride and hi-hat, because that's my one. And
Mhm.
that's that because it was hard having like snares and everything in monitors, especially if you have like a monotone stretch for a long time and it's like no cymbal crashes, no nothing, is just blast beat. I mean, it's darkness. You have no idea where you are
That's
unless
right.
you are on the one. So it's really relentless, but when everything is in sync, it just works perfectly. It's fantastic. And I actually have some more like fun facts
Yeah,
on liberation. Um, before we move on. Satanic propaganda,
yeah,
because that one was me coming to the rehearsal place with a riff.
yeah,
I remember I created the riff, And I'm just gonna take my acoustic guitar
Yes.
and play, because it's the only clean part in the whole Liberation
Yes,
album.
yes.
I created it
Yeah.
differently. Well, this is like a really music nerd thing. I don't think everybody will catch, but I think you will. Well, I created the riff, so that was the riff. But in my head, the beat was different. It was the same riff, but in my head, I heard triplets. So so it got like almost like a jolly.
Yes.
But Frost didn't hear that, and I played the riff just like it is, but he heard the beat that ends up on the album, and I got so thrown off because he's entering a different place than it would be natural if it was triplets you were counting.
Yeah.
But I remember at rehearsal, like, whoa, that's 10 times cooler.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same riff, but he made it so much better. I mean, so that was like, I can say it's a riff I created, but Frost perfected that riff.
That's so. That's so cool. So that intro, I'm pretty sure I play the same way.
My guitars, how I created that it's just. So instead of adding the middle finger there, just open strings.
Yeah. Because you get that
And then it
dissonance.
starts off in the. Yeah.
Because I played that chord, I thought it was here, but
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so used to playing it in this part. That's the chords, right?
Yeah.
So 7, 8, 10.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Evil Oath.
Oh, Evil Oath is that's
Actually, yeah.
that seems
Yeah,
about
you're
right.
actually you got it right. Just one more tone there. It's
Oh, so that's even.
yeah.
See, that's one of the 1349 signatures. Is those fast sliding power chords.
Yeah.
You know that. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm Abomination bit, but that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evil Oath I haven't been able to pinpoint and work out so well.
Now, Evil Oath is Archaon's own song.
Yeah.
That it actually had a way longer title, and we had like narrowed down to Evil Oath. I know that Evil Oath is Archaon's own thing. If we're going to do some liberation stuff, I think Legion is one of those songs. I kind of like, when I see the Spotify playlist and stuff, it's like the most popular songs. I don't tend to go for those ones. I don't. I like the B tracks. The tracks are kind of like a bit obscure,
Mm,
and I think no, not Liberation, but Legion is
yeah.
one of those, and it's a pleasure to play because it's kind of uh, uh, the way the fingers are positioned. It's just it flows really good. Drum intro, that's kind of cool.
Intro riff is something like something on the E. Dead or dead.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah. It's like
Ah.
yeah.
Ah. Boom. Something like that second chord is
Yeah. You're using the full chords, I see.
uh-huh.
But we're doing it like this.
Gotcha. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Then you got the palm music.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
And
this that notes.
yeah.
That's tricky to get tight. Dead.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That song is it's good for the fingers to warm up because it's a lot of like positioning and trying to nail those spots. Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the 1349 magic right there. Just
Yeah. It's fun to play. Yeah, yeah. It's really cool to play.
Riders of the Apocalypse. Who came up with this riff? Because this is the angriest riff ever. Who came up with that?
I think it's me. Yeah.
That's one of the best riffs of all time. That is just like
It might also be the only riff I contributed to that song, but it fit in because I mean that was a song that when we made it, we knew that that was going to be a really great live song.
yes.
We have the sliding guitars and and
Yeah.
then and that's downstrokes, and it's so hard to do. Yeah.
Okay, so you hammer on these bits. Because I thought it was slides like that.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the first riff is made from Frost.
Oh,
I
really?
think, yeah, I think so. I might be mistaken, but I think so. It's definitely not me.
Okay.
But my personal favorite riff in that song is the next one, and I think it's Raven who made the next riff. And I see.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
groovy. So groovy. Okay. Is that right? That little tail bit there.
yeah. There we go. That's my riff as well.
Ah, cool.
The next time, because it's an AB riff,
Yeah.
we liked that a lot back in the day.
Ah.
Yeah.
That is fucking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember playing that live, and it's kind of cool when you, as an artist, also is kind of losing it because you're so with it, and you just feel that power. It's kind of monstrous.
Yeah. It's like it almost reminds me of like Iron Maiden, but like more like super dim, like the dun 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 dun, like that kind of like gallop rhythm, but just
Yeah.
you gotta pick.
Everybody has to like every part has to fit with all the other musicians as well. So everybody contributed to make that monster. That's the thing I like. It's a riff is usually just a riff until the other parts is in there. If you play in a band, when I enter rehearsal room or anything, I tend to, well, I always do have the mindset of the drummer knows best the drum parts. I hate when I'm at rehearsal and somebody comes out with a riff and say, play blast beat on this one, or you have to now do this on that one. It's like, let the other people do their stuff. You did your part. Now just let it go and let the music live. Because everybody needs to contribute. And if I'm told you have to play this, you have to do this, I need to see first why I have to do it. And if I can see that, well, I can do this my way, I can actually elevate this riff or make it my own, I will do it, because otherwise I will feel that the songs are kind of separate from myself. I can't really get them under my skin. It becomes like a cover.
Yeah, no, I completely 100% agree with that. Like, you know, like sometimes it's hard for the new guitar player to understand how important a drummer is to the live performance and even to the quality
Hmm.
of the song. Because the drummer,
Yeah.
like for me now, like when it comes to like writing songs as well, like sometimes like fuck the guitar parts. If the drum parts are bad, or if someone
Hmm.
isn't able to put that, like you said, like if people aren't able to put their own personality into the playing, then what's the point of playing in a band?
Yeah, I know. I
It's
know.
like,
It's what differs like a band from a project. And even in projects, when I had those, I also just say, hey, do your stuff because you do your stuff better than I can. I'm not like I'm first and foremost a guitarist, a composer,
yeah,
um, and that's kind of where I draw the line. I'm not a drummer. I'm not a cellist. I'm not a violinist or a piano player. Those guys know what they're doing usually.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with that. 100%. Yeah, it's so much better, and then it's so much better, and then you compared to what you had in mind, and then someone else comes in who actually knows what they're doing and does things properly,
Hmm.
and you just realize like,
And I
damn,
like to be surprised.
do
I
it.
mean, yeah, and I like to be surprised.
Yes.
I like to see or hear stuff in another way because I'm kind of I know my own ways. I know how I would create stuff, and if somebody else can put their touch to it or just turn it upside down and just do something else that is totally unexpected, I really like it
Yeah.
because it gives me hope for creativity because I'm sick of myself, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
uh,
You get so set in your ways, and then it's like, oh no, this should be like this, but then you realize you're just being too narrow-minded, and that's not
yeah,
entirely
and
healthy.
that's something we can talk about when we have gone through the 34.9 and some few Pantheon Ice
Mm.
songs. If we could talk like 5 minutes about Svartelder, which is um, the other band I'm releasing albums with. We have like 3 albums out now, and
Cool, cool.
yeah, and the creative process there is totally different from anything else I have ever done.
Okay. How so?
Since we are like in talking about composing and creating,
Mm.
um, it yeah, we're doing everything backwards, and that's but we can talk about that later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. Okay, sweet. So that's the liberation stuff covered. Now, beyond
Yeah,
the apocalypse.
in this part of the 34.9 history, now we started to kind of um, make stuff together because liberation was a lot of stuff we created from kind of our backlog, you know, and we collaborated on a lot of stuff, but on Beyond the Apocalypse, it really we started from scratch. Everything it was like no riffs, no parts, no nothing. We started with a clean slate and then created Beyond the Apocalypse together as a band from scratch, and it's I think it's 2 songs there that's created solely by one artist, and it's Chasing Dragons for Archeon, and The Blade is a song I created.
Hmm.
All the rest of the songs are co-created within the whole band.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Because the
Yeah,
blade is interesting because you've got all these kind of like spooky chords,
yeah.
and I haven't been able to like work it out properly. That's why you got the
It's
but dun, 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 and then you've got all the like epic stuff and all these like synths
hmm.
stuff coming in. It's
Yeah, we got like a pumping organ
oh
on
cool.
that because in the studio they had this. And the thing is that on that track, Raven is playing the drums,
All right, cool.
and I'm doing all the guitars, and Sideman is doing bass, and I think Sideman also did the pumping organ. And the thing is that this was our like go-to jam with me, Raven, and Sideman.
Oh, okay.
So we played this like for ages, and I had those riffs, and we played around with it because it was like kind of a avant-garde thing that it had no rules. It just felt like something of our own, but it could also be like a Vibuens Ende type of riff. And I have, let's see here, my acoustic guitar, and the way it starts is like this.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have the opening,
Yeah.
which is just dead silent, and you have, and the next one is just easy. And it's like no correct way of playing it, you know. It's just a feel
Yeah.
thing. So I'm just playing around with the which strings I touch. It's not that important. It's the whole feel of it is important, and then you have the stop like.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's just two chords. And I remember in the studio we didn't have that part. We only had this acoustic stuff, and we just jammed and played that one. And then one night we decided to record this as a song, and we did that. I think I created it like there and then the next take we recorded it. So it was pretty raw, but we were not to toot our own horns, but me and Raven and Sideman, we were really good at jamming out. We were really in sync with each other, so when we jammed out, we kind of had this connection where now we change, now we do something else, and me and Sideman always kind of, well, he picked up really fast where I was going, so everything just flowed really good. So we did the song, and the next day we had this song down, and we showed it to Frost, and we're like, how is this? Because it wasn't planned. It was just a song, and of course the drums are Frost's domain. So to do that with just us three, Frost were dead silent during the whole listening to that, and he just said, well, this is correct, this is perfect, this is just how it should be. So congratulations, guys. And that was a real like a pride moment for me, like, yeah, that's cool. You actually nailed this. And well, it's kind of a validation for what we felt was a great tune, and a really weird tune. Had like this Twin Peaks-esque kind of off thing where it just sounds off, but it's still soothing in a weird way.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I was listening to that, you know, just in passing, just on the way to work, and it's kind of just like, it's like don't know. There's something oddly charming about it. It's like when if you're like like if you're in like a lift going to like if you're just in a lift, you listen to it and you hear it, it's like just like spooky in a way. It's just like spooky but calming, but not like comedic, if that makes sense. Not comedic.
No, but I get you. And I think when the band sets in, we kind of nailed it with the sound technical aspect of it as well, because it's not like in your face. It's just those punctuations dur, dur, dur.
Yeah.
It's not offensive in any way. Well, at least not to my ears. I like the simplicity of it. It gives room for the vocals, gives room for some ambience. It's not like we needed to pack more information into it.
Yeah. And that's, ambiance is an interesting thing because after you left, 1349 did Revelations of the Black Flame, which is
Yeah.
very ambient. And then in in Demon War, they've got all the Tunnels of Set, which is even more ambience. And they did that again with
Yeah.
the newest one, Infernal Pathway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I guess that's like the catalyst to like the ambience that is in like 1349 albums. So that's kind of cool,
I think they have kind of found their ambience in it, because if you pack an album full of extremities, like from start to finish, it will deteriorate.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
you need contrast.
Yes, 100%. Because I call it flatlining, where it's like if something is so like intense, then you just kind of get used to it, and then it's like if every song is very similar, then it's kind of like hard to listen to sometimes. It's because I've seen a few bands, and I'm not going to name drop, but but like super fast, heavy blast beat bands, and then everything kind of just becomes like a blur and similar. But I never had that experience with 1349, which is the reasons why I like it so much. Yeah.
I totally agree. It's some selective bands. That's quite good bands, but some albums are just a struggle to get through, and not memorable at all, because everything is just cranked up and everything is going like sonic speed, and that's it's hard for me to consume.
Same. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Back to Beyond the Apocalypse. The actual Beyond the Apocalypse song, like, is it played like?
Dude, you nailed it. It's just it's all the tones are perfectly correct.
Yeah.
It's just, but I mean, to say that something is played wrong is just because my fingers are positioned somewhere else than yours. It's not wrong. It's just not how I played it. But the first thing was correct.
Yeah.
So what I do is
you follow the
yeah.
Because yeah, I was debating if it was that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The way I remember playing it live was like this.
Okay. What else is on Beyond the Apocalypse? So you got Chasing Dragons, Beyond the Apocalypse, then AOS Aeon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then oh, yeah, that's some.
You got it, man. That was fantastic. But yeah, the opening there, it's the same chord as you have in Manifest.
Yeah, yes. So you add the high E as well. Cool. Then you got the thrash riff.
It's one of the coolest things ever on that album.
Such a good riff. Such a riff.
I mean, and the beat and everything is just that's some good thrash.
That's some good shit.
It is.
And then I love this riff.
Yeah.
That one. I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, that's Archaeon. It's kind of you can hear. Well, I can actually see it. That it's Archaeon. It's his way of doing stuff. It's like with Chasing Dragons and Nauticana and all that. For me, it's probably because I played a lot with him, and we're gonna differentiate what he made and me made. But for me to see it, it's like, yes, that's Archaeon. I remember when you play it, and he also liked to make riffs that were kind of not normal, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
He tried to explain to me at one point, it's like a light switch. You just turn off and on. It's like the it's just those stops and
yeah.
because you could easily just hammer through it, but he has these cool stops that I think also Frost help accentuate in how he played it. And he had these snares when we have those.
And what's after that? Necrohatalanethan.
It's a song that I know also Sideman really loved playing. I think he made some riff contributions on it as well. But that one, Necrohatalanethan, actually got that title from a hospital.
What does it mean?
Nothing. We created it.
Cool. Okay, sweet.
It's kind of a words set together.
And is that the same thing with Nathikana as well?
On the Nathikana, we wanted the song to have a female name, but not so obvious as Elizabeth Bathory or something like that. So we created some. We wanted to have like a female name on that song.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's I love these like little fun facts about 1349. Yes.
Yeah.
Necrohatalanethan, and then there was Perish in Pain. Dun, dun, dun.
That was actually I created that riff backstage. Yeah, it was a warm up I had where I just did this. It's a good warm up.
Yeah.
So
Then that sounds like the right chords, isn't it?
That's perfectly correct.
Okay.
And
Dun 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 dun. Bum ba. Dun 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 dun. Ah.
yeah,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Oh. That's the little thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that was created backstage, and I remember Frost telling me like, "That's a cool riff. Remember that till next rehearsal," and it stuck with me. So I did that, and I think it's one of my favorite kind of takeoffs on songs because it goes into an unexpected tempo when you have this.
Yeah.
And then it changes.
So whose idea was it to like go from like 4/4 and then have like the triplet feel? Because it's like 1, 2, 3, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun. Then it da 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 da. Whose idea was that?
Frost.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Because that riff, those two first riffs I made, I tend to just play the riff, and then he would add on, and sometimes he heard something different than what I heard, and then some magic was created.
Amazing.
And actually, in this is also kind of a cool thing I think you'll appreciate. In Chasing Dragons. Yeah.
That one, yeah, it goes from like triplets and then
Because that riff, it starts. The thing is that Frost came in on the second bar of that riff, so in essence, he heard something else than what me and Arcane heard, and then when he comes in on the second bar instead of the first bar, suddenly the riff slithers instead of being like on like 4 beats, like
yeah.
suddenly it slithers along because he is coming in from a different angle than what Archeon created the riff for, and it just has become that thing. It just became that thing, and it was so hard for me to try to figure out how Frost heard that riff because I couldn't erase the first note from my perception of the riff.
Yeah.
But he heard the riff from the second tone of the riff.
Yeah.
So it's like if you take any other song and you eliminate the first tone and you play it from the second tone, it changes the whole character.
Yeah.
And for Chasing Dragons, it worked magically. So it was kind of a art by accident that happened. So it was always when we played live, when I came in, it was like I always had like on the backbeat. It's like, okay, now it's
yeah.
now it's going.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like when you've got like shifting like time signatures and different like feels of the riff, it is difficult live as well because in my band we've got one riff that does the similar thing. It goes from like it goes and you've
Yeah.
got that shifting shift between the straight blast to like the triplet blasts, and my
Hmm.
drummer hates me for it. But it was an idea. Yeah, it was an idea I wanted for this riff, but yeah, I totally understand. Like, the
Yeah.
when you're playing like a riff that's like supposed to be in 4/4, and then you've got
Hmm.
like a triplet blast ahead of it, you've got to like you've got to work with the drums. So you've got to like shift the way you play it, and I think slithering is
Yeah.
the best way to explain it but not so swing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like
Hmm.
just has to work with the drums. And
Yeah.
going back to how these albums were recorded, were they
Yeah.
recorded with metronomes, the first three albums?
I think at least Hellfire. I can't say for sure Beyond Apocalypse
Oh,
or Liberation. I know Liberation was recorded on tape, I think.
oh, mad. Okay, cool.
Um, yeah, but I think at least Hellfire was on a click track,
Gotcha.
just to get the BPM correct. But I'm not sure if Beyond the Apocalypse was on a click track. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
because I remember there's like some moments that it felt like the bar was like speeding up or slowing down sometimes, but it's all good. And
Yeah, I
it's
know. It's I think it's I can't remember what song it is, but I remember we cut the recording in two halves. So we recorded I think just the main stuff the first half, and then we were up to do some details and maybe some do-overs. I can't remember if it's Beyond the Apocalypse or Hellfire, but it was an end section um, on a song that kind of escalates. Well, not in the riff, but it has like an I can't remember the riff. I just remember the scenario where we sat on the train up to the studio, and I was sitting with Frost, and I said, "Well, that sounds really cool. That the part where we have a stop, and then I think it sounds really cool." And I remember Frost like, "No, I'm gonna do it again, and it's going to be fucking sonically a fucking hellstorm fast
cool.
paced." Like, oh fuck me. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna play so fast. Just yeah, you just have to check it out. One song that is just hauling ass at the end.
Is it to
And
Rotterdam? To Rotterdam?
what?
To Rotterdam? You know
Yeah,
the
I think maybe it's Rotterdam. Yeah. Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I think it's to Rotterdam actually.
Cool.
And it was just, oh my god, he's gonna haul ass. He's gonna
Yeah.
really do it. And became like that. And that's the kind of the advantage of recording in two steps as well, because you can listen to it and like, no, I can do better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like, you've got to have the best takes and you just got to do things.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is when I talk to other musicians, and especially sound technicians,
Mm.
is that you can play everything right, but you have to have something else,
Yeah.
because otherwise a machine could do it. You can play it right, but you have to have some feeling. I would rather have something a bit wrong with feeling than right with no feeling.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And that's just like an old school black metal way of approaching things. It shouldn't always be correct and like Dream Theater-ish, because
Mm.
you can't do it. The thing you put down on tape should represent something, not that you can play it correctly. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to play correctly, but you have to play it with passion.
Of course, yeah. Because that's what all music comes down to. It's like passion, expression. It's the artist's
Yeah.
identity.
And then
Uh,
it comes down to the technicians. Like, yeah, that was right. Moving on, and I can just stop. Like, no, not moving on. It was
yeah,
correct, but it was not right. It's just
yeah,
do it
yeah.
again. I need to feel it.
Exactly. Because that's the thing. That's when it's like we're going back to like the air moving in the rehearsal studio when everything's just like working and the air's
Hmm.
swirling. You've got the energy and then that I don't know what it is. It's like some aura or just something that you just feel, and then the way
Yeah.
you play a chord just somehow sounds different.
Hmm.
You can't. There's more expression. There's more music in the note. There's more
Yeah.
feeling in the note, and that's so important.
Yeah. I know, and it's just like people may think it's like a snobby thing to do, but it's the last like integrity we have as musicians is to say no, it's not representing what I am.
There we go.
We need to actually, I'm trying to convey something with my music that I actually can't convey otherwise. So if I'm reaching out 50%, it's not good enough. And that's what
Exactly.
actually kind of took me back to the 3049 thing, is that when I listened back to it, it's like, shit, that's really, really ferocious, more ferocious than I remember it was. And I was thinking about it. If we ever did a re-recording, it would be horrible. It would take away all the struggle, the youthful energy that was there. It's something, and it's an X factor. And when I see other bands re-recording their stuff, I mean, it's almost never as good as it was.
Yeah,
It's kind of like they're doing this because they want to own the master tapes and stuff like that,
yeah,
but they're not really doing justice to the original feel of the material.
yeah. It doesn't have that magic. Most
No.
it doesn't have that magic most of the time. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a thing. Like I remember. I think Burzum he recorded some of the songs uh,
Yeah.
10 years ago, and it just doesn't have that kind of, like you said, that raw youthful energy where Varg's just going ah, ah, in the mic,
I
and
know.
everything's just
It's,
different.
I
And
mean, the first stuff he did up on and with Philosophem, it's just magical. It can't be recreated.
can never ever be recreated. It's one of those things that's of the moment, and
Yeah.
nothing can take away from it. You could add to it,
Hmm.
but it won't be right.
Yeah.
You can try and change
And
things.
that's the way when I record guitars or I record vocals. It's just there has to be something
Yeah.
that I can live with for the rest of my life, because it
Yes.
will be out there and it's so
Yeah.
revealing. And I have some issues with the first Pantheon I stuff, where it's just, I think we released it too early, and it was just so many ideas. We had so much creativity, and it just went all nuts. And the sound we had didn't represent the music we created, stuff like that. But I'm like mid 40s now, and I just learned to live with it,
Yeah.
and I'm standing by it. I mean, either way.
Yeah. No, for sure, because it's like it's one of those things you just did. Well, as musicians, we just do what we can with the stuff we're given at the time. Uh,
Yeah,
and oh, yeah,
I'm not embarrassed of
yeah,
anything I have ever done. I mean, I can't do it because it represents a time in my life, and it's an era,
exactly.
basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when I listen to some of my old recordings, there's always like I remember listening back to like some of the first stuff I ever recorded, and I was like, this is it's like you said, this can never ever be replicated. If it is done again, it won't be the same.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I was a 16-year-old kid who wanted to fucking make music and play some angry shit. And
Yeah,
that's what it was. That's what it
of
was. It was
course.
just, you know, a recording with me and my cousin, just recording whatever we could at home and trying to make cool songs.
Yeah, and that's
And
one of the coolest things I I can listen to is stuff like that. Is just where the passion overrides the ability.
yeah,
I I fucking love it. It
oh,
gives
for
me
sure.
so much energy to just listen to somebody mean something. Because
Mm,
think it's the music industry in general is just overflown with mundane shit that people really doesn't mean. So
yep.
when I hear like real original stuff, take for instance the last Dödheim's God album.
Hmm. I haven't
I mean,
listened to it. I haven't
it's a
listened to it.
masterpiece.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's a fucking masterpiece, man. It couldn't been done any better.
Wicked.
I mean, hands down, it's one of the best albums I heard in like 20 years.
And this is the most recent thing they've off the recent album, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I've seen lots of
No,
people.
it's ridiculously good because they don't subscribe to any like musical framework or
Mm,
laws. It's just they're doing what they do and standing by it, and it sounds fucking great. And the thing is with music, it tends to like take you back to a time.
yeah,
That's the thing when you explore new music, you want to like broaden your horizon and stuff like that,
yes,
but you tend to fall back to listening to old stuff because that reminds you of a better time, or
yes.
that's like
Comfort.
Callum Core's Bleeding album
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like Satirical and Shadows Realm stuff like that. I always tend to go back to that. But when I listened to the new Dödheim Sky album, it took me back to something. It took me back to a time
Yeah.
of the 90s without, I mean, it's such a weird, I mean, that's a that's a daunting task to actually take something new I have never heard before, and that made me feel like I was back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's
I actually got memories from listening to it from me in my youth.
that's amazing.
It's just weird. It's a masterpiece how he did it. I don't want to
Cool.
hype too much up, so you're
No,
like,
that's cool. That's cool.
but
No, I'll,
but for me personally, that was an amazing trip. That
gotcha.
album.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to check it out now.
yeah,
I call it the Iron Maiden effect because I had a similar
mm,
experience with a band called Neo Obliviscaris, and
yeah,
listening to that band, it was just like, Christ, where's this band been all my life? It was like I just discovered Iron, like it's like I just got into Iron Maiden again in a way
yeah,
because it was just like, wow, this is so out there, this is so cool, and then it takes you back. It takes you
mm,
back to that time, and that's cool. I'll have to check out the Dot Ims God album. But
yeah. Check it
yeah,
out, man.
let's talk about I Am Abomination.
Yep,
So,
that one.
that riff, yeah, so that's the riff. Because it follows that chord shape, right?
Yeah,
Ah, okay. So the melody line moves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Ah, okay. I've been playing that wrong for years.
oh yeah, it's yeah,
Ah, so it's the full bar chords.
mm,
Ah, cool. And then power chords. That trilling part, am I playing that? Ah. Ah, okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And then
cool.
you got the stop there. And that's a thing I remember doing because I was just playing around with techniques. So it's
Yeah, it shifts up.
yeah. Yeah.
Sculpture of Flesh. That's a great
Oh
one.
yeah, we did a music video for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Why Sculpture of Flesh as the music video? Just out of curiosity. Because like it's
Well,
the most like accessible, I guess, song on that album, because that's the song that got me into the band.
yeah, it was kind of it's a headbanger song. It's
Yeah.
it's a good representation, and I remember the guy that made the music video. He was at our rehearsal. Um, Rome Ramses, I think his name was, and he wanted, because when we played a rehearsal for him, we really brought our A game. I mean, we really did our stuff.
Yeah.
And he was so impressed with it. So he wanted to capture that essence in a music video. So in the music video, it's no story. It's just us playing in different settings.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
He wanted to capture the ferocity of the song and how we played it at rehearsal. So that's kind of why that song was picked. And I think it's a 3.5 minute song or something, if I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's like it was a good choice, but in hindsight, maybe we should have done I Am Abomination or Nauticana or Celestial Deconstruction. I have no idea, but I would like to see a music video for all those songs. But
Same.
Sculpture of Flesh, I think Sculpture of Flesh is a good one, and that's one of those songs I didn't make anything, because at this point we didn't make the songs together as much as we did on Beyond the Apocalypse. So the one song on that album that is a collaboration with me, Frost, and Sideman is Hellfire Song.
I wanted to talk to you about that one actually.
Yeah, I mean that's for me because the kind of I don't know, hits aren't that interesting for me. I think, as I mentioned earlier, the kind of B tracks, the like Hellfire and the more obscure like Legion, stuff like that. They're more interesting because they have some like unspoken thing about them. And it might be the other way around. If they were kind of the hits, maybe I would be drawn more to like Abomination and stuff like that. But it's more interesting for me to talk about Hellfire.
Yeah.
Because that is probably one of those riffs I'm most satisfied with ever creating. Like ever.
Yeah, because it's lovely. Like the two chords, like it's most of the song is based around two chords, but the way they work is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now this next part, is it octaves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it 16th notes in the picking or is it 8th notes? So it's Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's the next riff. That's Sidemon's riff, and then the end riff at the
Yeah.
end. That's a riff Frost made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know it's really cool. It was a hard time learning it because it's so complex in structure and melody. Um, but he had a clear vision, and I think we nailed it. But the thing is, with the opening riff, is why I'm so satisfied with that riff. Is the tail part is just a tail part. The main riff is 2 chords, and that's kind of the bare minimum of what a riff can have to become a riff.
Yeah.
And those 2 chords together, I think I could play it for like half an hour and would not be bored. It will feel like just a good droning. It will actually feel exciting the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I found those chords, and the way it does, I mean, we play it like I don't know how many times we play well, but we play it like
A lot.
many times, and it's still exciting, and it's 2 chords. The only thing I can like come up with is if there's a more simpler structure or something, it is 1 chord.
Yeah.
And that's like, then you have like Twisted Sister, I Am, I Me, which is just it's just one
Gotcha.
one thing. But I was so satisfied with the minimalistic approach I had to that. It's like it's not too much information, and I think it kind of put a good finale to the album. And we actually started out on the Hellfire tour. We started out the set with Hellfire. We started this and played, and then the next riff, and then I think we shut off to like maybe
Isn't it right?
Nauticana or something else. We cut the Hellfire song into 2. And on the last song, we ended the song with the last part of Hellfire. So it was like the start of the Hellfire, the whole set, and the end of Hellfire. So we had like this beautiful flow. I remember we toured with Gorgoroth, and it was really, really good. It was intense, and fortunately I got to play some really good shows with the guys, with the 3049 guys, and I'm really happy that we got to do Hellfire, and that was kind of my last thing there, and then I spun off to focus more on Pantheon I.
Yeah. Which leads us nicely onto Worlds I Create. Well, the song Myself Above All, because that one I've got a hard time working out. That cool lead part, like, but it's the second riff of that song.
This is me and Jon Espen Sagstad working together at our best. I mean, any other guitarist in the world, and I'm saying this, I've never played so good with any other guitarist. I mean, it's like my twin soul.
Gotcha.
Because we created so many cool riffs and stuff up through the years, and a lot of those riffs were created real time, where we just played something, we jammed, and we just looked at ourselves in awe and amazing, just what what the fuck happened now?
Yeah.
This is
The
amazing.
magic.
And I remember when we did Myself Above All,
Yeah.
because we were huge fans of Traces of Reality. I mean, the Dödansgar song from Satanic Art,
Uh-huh.
because it just moves on, and it never looks back. It just moves on, and we got fascinated by a riff that can be so long and intense. When you think it's done, it's just halfway there.
Yes.
So the thing is, I created the first part, and he created the second part. Therefore, it's probably hard to like pick.
Then on the recording, the track shifts to the like left ear, and then
I know. And then Jonas Spin takes over the lead, and then I take over the rhythm guitar. So I play lead for the first half the riff, and then he plays on the second. So the dynamic is just
beautiful.
yeah, it shifts from one side to the other, and then it stops, and then we are
Yeah.
I can't remember it. And then the next
The
part of the
epic.
song, we play this live as well. It's a beautiful riff, and Jonas Ben had an acoustic guitar, and he said like, I think I created something on that beautiful part. And when he played it, it's like, fuck you, man. You think you had something? It's fucking gold. And it's, I just like that approach. It's like, I think I have something, and he does that stuff, and it just cemented the riff that became that riff.
Yeah.
I think for the whole, it's one of those opening songs I'm really happy about. We got the ferocious. That's the album where we actually got the sound we deserved.
Yeah.
Music was complemented by the audio of the album.
Yeah, because it's just right. Like the guitar sound so tight. What amp was it on? What
I
was
think
it?
we might have used. It might have been a Kemper. I can't really say. Either we used the Kemper there, or we used the Kemper on Pariah when we did Pariah and Martyr.
Gotcha.
That's our last recording.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I think maybe it was Kemper, but maybe not. Not quite sure.
Oh.
But that album, I think we created the whole album with Dan on drums.
Oh, cool.
And Dan quit, and then we got Mats Gulbekaj on drums. So a lot of the drum beats were actually set, but he made it his own. Because I remember we had Serpent Christ. I think it was one of those early songs we had. Yeah. And I have to say sorry to all the drummers we have had. We dragged you through so much pain. I mean, me and Jonas, when we never got enough speed on the drums. Well, they brought enough speed, but we were always like trying to up the game and just come on. And when the blast beat sets on that riff, it's really fast.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, great. I love it. I love it.
I love it. I love the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great song. And
I think it's a good song. And what else do we have on there? Ascending, yeah.
I think I'm playing that right. That's what I was able to work out.
Isn't that That chord on the third there, so beautiful.
Oh, it's the best.
I know, it's so cool.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I'm gonna play it
Oh, it's supposed to.
the correct way, but tone wise, yes, you are on. But we start like this.
Ah.
Yeah,
Ah.
like full chords.
Okay, so it's.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just missing the. You're just missing the. So it's.
Ah, the slides. Ah. Ah.
Yeah.
Ah. Like this is I like playing these shapes because my elbow keeps hitting me.
Oh yeah.
That's been tripping me up for a while. That one.
Yeah. No,
And then
I love the full chords, and I love to give my fingers a hard time
yeah.
playing a lot of times, and and progressing on the song. It's the
Dun-dun. Yeah.
yeah, just like a.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's a riff that's actually has some story to it. The next riff where Jonas does the vocals. It's a band from where I grew up in Fetsund in the 90s. There was a band called Astralis here, and they were really good. It was like a black metal band.
Yeah.
And they actually turned down a record deal with Hot Records back in the 90s. I don't know why, but they did. And I remember sitting in the gym locker room at my school with the bass player from that band, and he showed me a riff of the new material they had on an acoustic guitar, and that's that riff. And I actually chased down those guys again and just it's actually Vidar, the Finna Death from Den Såkalte and Nocturnal Breed.
Familiar with them, unfortunately.
It's that guitarist, and I showed it to him, and I said, "Dude, do you remember this riff?" And he's like, "No." Like, nevertheless, can I use it in Pantheon because it would really fit? It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And that's like 1995, I think. So I remember that riff up until like 2009, when we made this. And I always thought that that riff was so beautiful. That's why it stuck in my mind from that time in the locker room where we sat down with the guitars, and I'm like, whoa, that's beautiful. That's really cool. And I never had a band where I could use it.
Yeah,
So now it was Pantheon, and it kind of just came up from the past, and I had to like chase down those guys.
that's sick.
But how it's played, it's like this, and it's real simple, but I really wish I made it myself. But it works perfectly in here, and the same actually goes for the main riff in The Wanderer in His Shadow, the album before,
Mhm.
Worlds Are Great. The main riff is actually Astralis, and I also asked the guys, can I use this riff?
Oh,
Because
right.
they made a demo in the early 90s with this riff, and the demo is on tape. So it sounds like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, can I please use this riff and make a new song out of it? And they were like, yeah, no problem.
Oh,
And then it
that's
made up. Yeah, because it kind of bothered me that such gold would just die out and nobody will hear it. So this was a way for me to have it on tape, and the riff would never die a silent death. Now it lives on in other music.
yeah.
But nonetheless, the riff where Jonas sings
Yeah.
is like this.
Cool, cool. So I'll just play it like acoustic. So that's the first chord.
Yeah,
Um, what's that next chord after that?
yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
And then it's like 10th and 12th
ah,
on E. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
then back and then the cellos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
lot. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I think
Yeah, it's like a composer treat. I think it's so cool to play. It's so neat and nice, and sounds lovely.
yeah, like there's times where I just listen to that song on loop, and it's just
Yeah.
ethereal. It's a very, very ethereal song, and it's very, very powerful, and it's just
Hmm.
it's got all the qualities that make a great song, which is the just that magnificence.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's a great song. I think it's a good composition, and it's not like a novelty thing. We're not trying to show off anything,
yeah,
like how fast we can play or anything. It's just when we don't need to show anybody what we can do, but we created a song together as a band. I remember Live going into the studio and doing like the background vocals there,
mm,
which is just like some
yeah.
things. Everything just worked out so nice. Everybody had like a clear vision of what we want to create.
That's
So
magic.
I'm really happy about it. It's one of those songs I'm really happy about it. I can't like find anything I would do anything different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing that yeah, it's one of those songs that's just like wow, and even when I show that song to my friends, it's just like they're like, whoa, it's so
Hmm.
it's so unique. which is why
Yeah.
it's so unique, and it's
Mm.
yeah, super cool. Any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to share? Any advice you have
I
uh,
think
for anyone?
I mean I'm really proud of what I have created with the bands,
Hmm.
and it stands by itself, I think. And I think people should just don't try to copy anything. Don't try to make something and have the thought, well, this is something Slayer could do, or this is something somebody could do. Try to find your own, and it may be uh, kind of exposing, where you feel vulnerable and almost naked to show your true self, your true compositions. This is what I like. You tend to like cover them with stuff other bands could do. Could do is like camouflaging stuff, but stand by your compositions and try to be bold. Try to also just don't try to find yourself in other bands. Try to find yourself in your own weird ass way of playing.
Hmm.
And if it's tuning your guitar all fucked up, and I think it's cool. I think the artistic point should be the highest point in every musician. So with that, I have this other band. Well, it's kind of a band project called Svartelder, which I just wanted to talk like 3 minutes about it, because it's it has kind of flown way under the radar, more than I am. Well, I have no ambitions of doing anything grand or anything, because I'm now a family man and stuff like that. But it would be nice if people could experience it. And the way we have done it for the last 3 albums, and we're now just finished recording and mixing the next album, is that the drummer goes in first without any riffs and lays down the drums. He can do whatever he wants, as long as it's just, I mean, a beat and something comprehensible. And we have Kevin from Galsvird and Horizon Blaze doing the drums. So he's sitting in the studio recording drums for like 5 minutes, trying to, in his head, have something of a structure to it. And he creates like 6 or 7 songs and send everything over to me. And then I create music on those tracks. So nobody knows what's going to happen.
That's amazing.
Because I don't listen to the whole drum track. I'm too bored. I don't want to do that. So I start off right off at the first beat, and it's like, okay, I pick up my guitar, and okay, he's doing this. Then I create something, and if he's doing something else, suddenly I have to also maneuver and record. So that creates some avant-garde. And I might do, or I always do, something that he doesn't expect me to do. So I record all the guitars, all the bass, and I make and record everything in one setting. So if you come to me the next day and say, hey, can you play that song? I probably wouldn't, because I have played those riffs only once. Well, maybe twice if I have to do it again or fuck up. But I don't, they are so fresh and they're just put on tape, and I'm moving on. Next riff, put on tape. Okay, if the first riff matches, okay, I remember that first riff, so let's play that again. And I'm moving on. And then I move on to the next song and I do the same thing. So I might just remember like 3 riffs, how to play 3 riffs from that song. But this is like 2 days ago. I can't remember the stuff I did. So if we ever play live, I have to decipher what I did
Oh my
on
God.
those songs.
Okay, okay.
So liberating playing like that, because the drummer is kind of dictating what I have to do, but not entirely. I can do whatever I want. I have said to the guys, if I want to play violin on this, I'm doing it. I can't play violin, but I have to have the artistic freedom to do what the fuck I want. If I want to do all clean guitars on full on blast, that's for me to do. Just trust my process. And I think it sounds fucking great. And then we send it off to, well, we had Eirik Renton doing the synthesizers on the last album, Pets, and I think it sounds magnificent. You should check it out.
Yeah.
It's surprising, and you can definitely hear when we play some thrash, you can definitely hear what I did in 34.9, because I don't know how to do anything else. It's my way of playing thrash, and that's, you can hear those thrash things is very similar. Well, not similar in tone wise, but similar playing style, like in I Was Eon or those kind of songs. It's just how I play that kind of music. And I think it's the first time I really have been able to again create black metal since 34.9. I played in other bands,
Yeah.
but I don't think those the way of creating riffs have fitted into anything else until now.
Yeah.
So now I can hear like the opening for the new Svartelder album. It's something that could easily be like the track after Evil Oath, you know?
Wow, okay. That sounds like a really exciting project. I love the way you're doing things because it's all based on like spontaneousness, feeling, and it's just like this works over this, and I think that's quite
Yeah.
charming in the way that you don't remember the riffs because it's like everything is of that moment.
Thanks.
No, but it's
Yeah.
like it's terms like an artistic piece. It's like everything is of that moment. Everything is kind of like where
Yeah.
it needs to be at that time. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check
Yeah,
this
check
out.
it out. And thanks for hitting me up. It's humbling for me to have other people learn stuff I made.